So this is the second part of this learning session on grant writing. And we are going to be looking at the Grantello platform. Yeah, so Grantello platform, like I said, is the online platform, online grant system that GAVI is using to receive all the applications under this call for proposal. So to get started in with Grantello, you need to go to this website. The website is register-gavi.grantelope.com. Again, register-gavi.grantelope.com. You type it as one word, no space. register-gavi.grantelope.com. So when you go to this site, you create an account. It will be requested to fill in all your details, your name, the name of your organization, whatever information they need, just few information they need about you and your organization, just fill them up to to create your account. Once you create your account, you will need to access eligibility review form. And to access that eligibility review form, I believe that you'll be using your laptop to do this. So on the left side of the panel, you will see available grants. Click on the available grant, and the only available grant that will come out is this current call for proposal for Nigeria. That's the only available grant at the moment. So once you click on available grants, it will bring it out and you will have access to the eligibility review form. Complete the eligibility review form. They will ask you some questions. The question will be bothered about all those things that they listed as their eligibility criteria, right? Whether we've already discussed that in the first part. So when they ask you whether you have this and you know that that is what they require for eligibility, just click yes. If you say no, you won't be eligible. So select yes for when they ask you such question. Then once you complete the eligibility form, then you will submit the form and they will confirm you eligible immediately. So once you are done, you are confirmed eligible, then you now begin your application process. All right, please, again, let me remind you that this entire process is online. So everything from beginning to the end of the submission is done online. So if there are any documents to upload, you will need to get those documents, make sure that the documents are available. So when you get to the point where you upload those documents, you will upload them. There are also some other documents that you will have to download once you're able to access the site and fill them, like budget templates and workbook and all that. You fill them and upload it back on the site before you get to the point where you will submit, right? Right. So once you complete your eligibility form, you will see all the other sections where the forms, the documents you need to download, the workbook you need to download. You will see where to download them from and all that, so that you can fill them and upload. So again, it's important for you to understand that this is a one-stage application, right? Yes, you can save your work on the go, but there is nothing like concept note stage and full application stage. No, everything is full application. So once you submit, you have submitted everything. There's no coming back to say, oh, okay, submit for another stage. No, it is a one-stage process. So meaning that in that one submission process, you'll be able to complete all your narratives, all the questions they will ask you, answer it there, upload your attachments and submit your workbook. So, like I said, it's a good idea that you have all your responses ready. Uh, some people decide to um, type out their responses offline so that they can just copy it and paste on the online application form on Grantello, right? So whichever way works for you, that's fine. All right, so what is the project workbook? And I think you also need to understand it. That workbook you're going to, once you're able to, you complete um, your assessment, then you will see uh, the downloads where you will download your workbook. So download it. And when you download this workbook and take a closer look at it, you will see that that workbook has several tabs. It's a workbook, it's an Excel file. If you have been using Excel, you understand what a workbook is. So it's an Excel file with various tabs. So each of the tab is represent a different component of the application form. So there are different tabs. There's a tab for workbook builder. There's a tab for result framework. There's a tab for work plan. There's a tab for risk register. There's a tab for learning plan. There's a tab for budget. So, and you have to complete all these tabs. You should not leave anyone blank. If you leave anyone blank, your application is incomplete. So you need to complete each of these tabs in the workbook. Then I want to also emphasize that while completing the tab for budget, it's very important that you include the budget for sub-grants. Since you will be applying as a lead organization, right? Partner organizations are not required to submit application. It's only the lead organization that will identify who they want to work with as partners and submit an application. So in your budget must include those sub-grants you plan to give to your partners, right? So don't miss this. If you miss that, it means you've under budgeted and you will have problem during implementation, right? All right. So each tab is essential. Like I said, you should not skip any tab. GAVI reviewers will look at each tab one after the other and to make sure that nothing is blank. And if any section is blank, you may be disqualified. All right. So before you upload anything, make sure that your supporting documents are complete. All the supporting documents that they have requested, make sure that they are complete. Now, let me remind you what the supporting documents are. You will need a valid registration certificate. That certificate that it was issued to you by the Corporate Affairs Commission when you registered. You need to have it handy so that you can upload it. You need to also upload a clearance letter from National Primary Healthcare Development Authority or State Primary Healthcare Development Authority. There should be a letter, either clearance, validation, partnership, whatever it is, just a letter that shows approval from any of these two, whether it is National Primary Healthcare Development Authority or their state counterparts, State Primary Healthcare Development Authority. Then, since partnership is compulsory, you should also be able to draft a simple partnership agreement with your CBO partners. So that partnership agreement also needs to be uploaded. Then you need to upload your 3 years audited accounts. You know, we've talked about this in the first part that you must have 3 years experience. So at this point, now that you're applying, you will need to show that you've been operating for at least 3 years. So they need your audited account statement for the past 3 years. This is 2025, and many people will be needing to upload audited account for 2024, 2023, and 2022. This is especially because many organizations have their financial year closing in December. So we are still in November, right? So if your financial year ends in December, it means that you don't yet have audited account for 2025. So you should be needing to submit your audited account for 2024, 2023, and 2022. But if for any reason your financial year has already closed, there are some that their financial year ends in July, for example. So if your financial year ends in July, then it's reasonable to think that you now have your audited account for 2024, 2025, right? So just start from the latest, from 2 years ago and from 3 years ago that is available within your organization, right? So but you need to upload these 3 audited account statements. So the reason why these things are required is to confirm your legitimacy and your financial capacity. If you do not have registration certificate, there's a question mark on your legitimacy. If you also don't have maybe Primary Healthcare Development Authority identifying that they are working with you on this, it might also put some question mark on your legitimacy. So you need to, these are required, you need to provide them, right? So that's a quick look at what Grantelope looks like. So you see that there is really not much. You simply need to answer the questions that they ask you, and then particularly in the different parts of the workbook, fill them out based on the question that they are asked there, and then you upload the documents, right? So the summary of what we've said so far is that it covers mainly the logistics involved, and so our next move is to actually design the proposal itself. So what we've looked at so far is to see how the Grantelope platform is, how you navigate that platform. So now that we are done with this, the next session will be looking at actually drafting the proposals itself, the narrative, the budget, the log frame, and all that, right? So remember, your proposal must be evidence-based, yes, and it must cover all the components that are required, including the narrative, the logical framework, the work plan, and all that. So we're going to do this in the part 3 of this session. But in the meantime, remember that you need to start early, because the application period is already running. If you do not start early, you might be caught up with time and you may not be able to meet the deadline. The deadline is December 2, 2025. Make sure that now that you've decided to apply, make sure that all your informations are ready, everything is ready before the deadline, so that you'll be able to submit on time. So in next part 3, we are going to shift from process to content of your proposal, and you will learn how to analyze your problem and design a project that fits GAVI's objective. So see you in session 3.